Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and we are back with yet another Pro Football Focus rankings video, rankings list, if you will. This time we are taking a look at Pro Football Focus ranked top 32 receiving cores going into the upcoming 2021 season. This does include wide receivers and tight ends, by the way, and if we all had to guess, I'd imagine the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be pretty high up on this list. How high up will they be? Well, we're going to have to go ahead and check here. But coming in at number 32, we have the Houston Texans. That one makes a pretty good amount of sense to me, I guess, in a way. I don't know if I'd say that the Texans have the worst receiving core, but they shouldn't have traded DeAndre Hopkins. That was one of the worst personnel decision moves that I have seen in a long time in the NFL. And yeah, I imagine Arizona is going to be pretty high up on this list because of that. So, you know, boo Bill O'Brien. I mean, really, he made some very head-scratching type decisions that are going to affect the Texans for many, many years of their franchise. So it is what it is. But moving on to number 31, you have the Detroit Lions. They lost Kenny Golladay. Honestly, all things considered, I would probably have the Detroit Lions at number 32. I mean, they have Tyrell Williams, they have Brashad Perriman, shout out to Brashad Perriman, by the way, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and they have TJ Hawkinson, but like, that's a very thin group. I mean, very, very, very thin. And Kenny Golladay was one of those guys who I thought, like, yeah, he's going to 100% re-sign with Detroit. Did not happen, and yeah, personally, I'd probably have Detroit at number 32. Coming in at number 30, you have the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, I guess that one does make a decent amount of sense. They are really looking to improve on that unit, and they really have been for the past couple of years, so we'll see what happens there. Coming in at number 29, you have the Tennessee Titans. Now, I will say, I believe this was written on June 2nd, which was before the Julio Jones trade. So Tennessee, we're obviously bumping them up. That was just a victim of circumstance here, that this was written before the Julio Jones trade. Of course, the Tennessee Titans are not all the way down here at number 29. I'd honestly probably have them in probably the top 15. So that is what it is. Shout out to the Tennessee Titans. Going up to number 28, you have the New York Jets, who they've made a couple of good moves. Corey Davis, I thought that was a very, very solid signing for them. I love Denzel Mims. I think he'll be a very solid receiver in year number 2. And they picked up Elijah Moore, which I'm a big fan of his as well. Just give them a little bit of time, and I think they will work their way up this list. Honestly, maybe they should be higher. We'll see. Coming in at number 27, you have the New Orleans Saints. That's pretty interesting, given that Michael Thomas is on that team. But they did lose Emmanuel Sanders. They did lose Jared Cook. They weren't able to replace those guys with, you know, a ton of, like, say, name value or just solid, capable starting value. It's a lot of question marks and what ifs, besides Michael Thomas on that receiving core. So we'll see. Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, whoever wins that quarterback battle, they will certainly have a little bit of their work cut out for them in terms of their receiving weapons, minus Michael Thomas. But that is what happens whenever you put yourself in salary cap hell. Moving on to number 26, you have the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, this one makes a decent amount of sense in my opinion. The Raiders, they just haven't had a ton of really great guys besides Darren Waller. I believe, did they get, yeah, it says that they got John Brown in free agency. That's good for them. I'm always a pretty big John Brown guy, and I like Hunter Renfrow as well. But again, besides, say, Darren Waller, you just have a ton of guys who have been like number 2 guys throughout their careers, or even number 3 guys throughout their careers. You have John Brown, Hunter Renfrow, Willie Snead, just guys that overall, you know, haven't had those chances to be number 1 guys. So we'll see what they do. You know, we'll see how they end up. But again, Darren Waller, hey, he's great. So going into number 25, you have the New England Patriots. Honestly, this one makes a good amount of sense. I might have them, would I have them lower? Probably not, because they did bring in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, in my opinion, two of the top 5 tight ends in the league, or even 2 of the top 7 tight ends in the league. That's pretty good. Jacoby Myers was good last year. I like Nelson Aguilar as a deep threat guy. Just hopefully Cam can actually throw people the ball this year, but he didn't have a ton of weapons around him, so we will have to wait and see how some of these wide receivers shake up. Kendrick Bourne is there as well. But yeah, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, I think that's really carrying the Patriots to this ranking here. Number 24, you have the Indianapolis Colts. Again, that's kind of been the one thing that Chris Ballard hasn't been able to figure out is getting better wide receivers besides T.Y. Hilton. I mean, Zach Pascal, Michael Pittman, those are pretty decent overall guys, but you could do a lot more. Same thing with the tight end position. Like, I like Mo Alley Cox, but you could upgrade. You really could upgrade. So Colts, 24, that's an all right ranking for me. 23, Jacksonville Jaguars. They've been doing a lot of work, and I think that they have loads of potential to upgrade and, shoot up this list come next season. You have Laviska Shenault, you have DJ Shark, I guess they have Marvin Jones, so that's good for them. I thought the Dolphins got Marvin Jones, but I guess not. I guess it was the Jaguars, good for them. And I think they're even playing the one running back, the one running back from Clemson, Travis Etienne. I believe they're playing him at wide receiver as well. And hey, you even got Tim Tebow at tight end, people. So overall, I expect the Jaguars to be much higher on this list come next season. Number 22, the Baltimore Ravens. Honestly, I'd probably put them lower. I'd probably put the Jaguars above them. I probably wouldn't put the Colts above them. But, 23 is where I'd probably put the Ravens. They are still working on getting some more talent out of their wide receivers. Mark Andrews is a great tight end, but everybody else needs a little bit of work, in my opinion. Number 21, the Chicago Bears. Allen Robinson's a beast. We all know this. Anthony Miller does some pretty decent things, some all right things, in my opinion. And they've got some other guys as well who are looking to do some things in the future. So Bears at 21, I'd honestly probably put the Jaguars above them too. Coming in at number 20, you have the Carolina Panthers. I would probably have the Panthers above. Let's see. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit, but honestly, I might have the Carolina Panthers a little bit higher. I mean, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, that's a beast of a combination right there. I really do think that those two guys are pretty darn good together. Now, if they would have kept Curtis Samuel, that probably would have moved them higher up on this list, but overall, maybe they should be a little bit higher, in my opinion. Coming in at number 19, you have the Washington Football Team, the team that got Curtis Samuel, and they have Terry McLaurin, who is very, very good as well. I don't believe this includes the running backs. It does not. So I think Logan Thomas is their tight end, and they have Adam Humphries. I completely forgot that they signed him. Yeah, this is a good group. I think this is a group that has a lot of potential, especially if you have, say, Adam Humphries in the slot, and then McLaurin is your 1, and Curtis Samuel is your 2, and just use him as a gadget guy. That could be a good combination. So we'll see how that goes. And with Fitz at QB, anything in the world is possible. So shout out to Washington at number 19. Number 18, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, Chase Claypool, Eric Ebron, who in my opinion is a very underrated tight end. And then you also have Juju Smith-Schuster, who is very, very good as well. I think they could be higher up. We'll see, but 18 for Pittsburgh, not bad. 17, the Arizona Cardinals. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They have A.J. Green. They have a lot of guys now, right? Larry Fitzgerald, he's probably done. I don't think he's going to re-sign, but you have Hopkins, you have A.J. Green, you have Christian Kirk. That's a pretty good trio of wide receivers, in my opinion. Number 16, you have the Atlanta Falcons. Now, note for this exercise, we've assumed that Julio Jones gets traded ahead of the 2021 campaign. That's interesting. So they have the Falcons at 16 without Julio Jones. I don't agree with that. I'd have the Cardinals above them, probably the Steelers above them. Heck, I'd probably have them all the way down here at 21, Atlanta, not all the way up at 16. You have Kyle Pitts, you have Calvin Ridley. Great combo, by the way. Really solid combo. But after that, it's a lot of kind of unproven guys. Like Russell Gage, he's aight, and some of their other guys after that, they're all right. But, besides Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts, who's still technically an unproven rookie at this point, what do you got, show me what you got, and Russell Gage, I don't think that adding him to that cuts that to put them all the way up at 16. You're giving a lot of credit to Calvin Ridley and to Kyle Pitts. I would probably have them down in the high 20s. Coming in at number 15, the Los Angeles Chargers. Keenan Allen's still disgusting. He's a beast. Mike Williams is still very, very good in my opinion. They don't have Hunter Henry anymore, but they did get Jared Cook, which I think is a good replacement for him. Overall, I think top 15 is a good spot for the Chargers. Number 14, Green Bay Packers again. You had Devontae Adams, Lazard did very good. I think Funches will be good when he's fully healthy. And they have some other guys there as well. Robert Tonyan. I'm a huge Robert Tonyan fan, so shout out to Green Bay. 13, Cleveland Browns, Odell Beckham, Austin Hooper, Jarvis Landry, who honestly, Jarvis Landry might be the best receiving guy on that entire team, in my opinion. And you got David Njoku. They've got some good guys there. Number 12, Cincinnati Bengals. That's kind of surprising. You have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd this high up. And I guess you have Auden Tate. But this high up already, number 12. I don't necessarily agree with that. Number 11, the New York Giants. You have Kenny Golladay. I believe you have Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, and Evan Ingram. I mean, Evan Ingram's a good tight end. I really like, Golladay. And they also have John Ross. That ain't bad at all. But probably not number 11 for the New York Giants. I'd probably put them lower. But still, hey, not bad. They do have a good group of guys. Number 10, the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, I just think point blank they have a pretty good group. We'll see who's above them. But, yeah, 10 might be the right spot for them. DK Metcalf and Tyler Boyd to go along with a pretty underrated tight end in Gerald Everett. I think it's a pretty good group in my opinion. Coming in at number 9, you have the Miami Dolphins, Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle. Mike Gesicki's a very good tight end. And Jakeem Grant, I think's pretty underrated as well. So you have some good guys there overall. Miami Dolphins coming in at number 9. I don't know. I could see a lot of criticism for this list, by the way. The Rams at number 8, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. And Tyler Higbee's still there, I believe, he's a pretty good tight end. And they added Deshaun Jackson, so eight's not a bad spot for them. Number 7, the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers receiving core to me it's still a lot of unproven guys. Like guys who just suffer injuries. We haven't been able to see them in a full year because they just keep on getting hurt basically every other game. I really want to see these guys fully healthy. I mean, honestly, maybe if they are fully healthy, they will be, as high up as number 7 or maybe even higher. But with just all the injury concerns, that would put them down, in my opinion. I mean, hey, the best ability in the NFL is your availability. And, all these dangerous playmakers that they have, if none of them can play a full season, are they really this impactful and this high up? I mean, it's just something to consider, in my opinion. But I will say that they are very, very good if they are fully healthy, and they probably would deserve that spot. Coming in at number 6 is the Denver Broncos. They have some very good guys. Courtland Sutton's a beast, in my opinion. Jerry Jeudy's really good. They have some really good guys around there. KJ Hamler's really good. But, I mean, overall, Courtland Sutton's a beast, man. Courtland Sutton is a dude. It would suck that he got hurt last year because I think he really could have been special. So, Broncos at number 6, Vikings at number 5. This one's a pretty good ranking, in my opinion. Irv Smith Jr., I think he's going to be a good tight end. You have Justin Jefferson and, obviously Adam Thielen, who are really, really good in their own right. Probably one of the best receiver duos in the entire NFL. And, overall, I don't mind the Vikings being at 5. Coming in at 4, you have the Buffalo Bills. Stephon Diggs is obviously phenomenal. He's one of the best receivers in the game. John Brown's gone. Emmanuel Sanders got brought in. Gabriel Davis is there. Cole Beasley, I think is overrated, in my opinion. I think Cole Beasley is overrated. But, I think this might be too high of a ranking for the Bills. I'd probably still have them in the top, 7, maybe the top 10. But it just feels like Stephon Diggs is really dragging this group along, in my opinion. Coming in at number 3, you have the Kansas City Chiefs. We all know the story of the Kansas City Chiefs now. I mean, it's speed and Travis Kelce, and that's just the way they do things. They're good, point blank. I mean, there's not much that I can say that hasn't already been said. So shout out to Kansas City, I guess. Number 2, the Dallas Cowboys, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. That's a pretty good group, in my opinion. Don't they have a really underrated... Yeah, Blake Jarwin, in my opinion, is a really underrated tight end. Dalton Schultz did a very good job subbing in for Blake Jarwin last year. They have a pretty deep group. I feel like they always do, so... it should be interesting to see how Dallas kind of bounces back this upcoming season with Dak Prescott fully healthy. And then number 1, I think we all kind of predicted it. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's go ahead and read. The Bucs showed the value of offensive weapon depth and how putting multiple effective playmakers on the field puts defenses in a bind. It starts with a wide receiver room that features Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown, the best trio in the league. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Evans has graded at an 80 plus in all but 2 years of his career, and he finished with over 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns, including the playoffs. Despite battling injuries throughout the season, he could be even more dangerous with a healthy 2021. That's 100% accurate in my opinion. I mean, Mike Evans, he's still underrated, I think. I think he got more credit this year, but Mike Evans is a beast, dude. Like, he really is one of the most impactful players in Buccaneers history already, and he's just about halfway through his career. He's an absolute beast. Godwin returns on the franchise tag, grading at a 75 or better in his 4 years. He's been one of the most sure-handed receivers in the league since 2017, though he went through a difficult stretch in the playoffs. That is accurate, with 7 of his 13 career drops all occurring during the Bucs' 2020 playoff push. Like Evans, Godwin battled injuries and may be even better this season. I think that is pretty accurate. Brown was the highest graded receiver on the team last year, despite not seeing action until week 9. He has been one of the best receivers in the league throughout his career, and he was a key target down the stretch as he got more acclimated to the offense. 100% agree with that. Beyond the top 3, Scotty Miller is one of the league's fastest receivers. He picked up 312 of his 581 yards on passes thrown 20 or more yards downfield. 5th rounder Tyler Johnson also made a few key plays, and 2021 4th rounder Jaylen Darden adds speed and quickness to the slot. The tight end room is just as deep with Rob Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, and the returning O.J. Howard. Gronkowski is no longer the best tight end in the league, but he can turn it on in spurts. He finished with 53 catches for 733 yards and 9 touchdowns last season. Brate recorded 42 receptions and 457 yards of his own, while Howard earned an 85.3 receiving grade prior to his season-ending injury. This trio is as good as it gets in the NFL. The Bucs are loaded up and down the roster, but their group of playmakers not only has the potential to dominate, but has the depth to handle injuries just as it did in 2020. I agree with all of that. I really do. And I'm not trying to be biased here. Like, I think that it's just kind of a fact just in national circles at this point that, yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are number 1. Like, any way you slice it, they've got the wide receiver depth. They've got the tight end depth. Like, they have all the Infinity Stones, basically, in terms of the gauntlet of, receiving core power, right? So, yeah, this makes a lot of sense to me. What else can you say, right? Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown, yeah, they're the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL. Take any one of them and put them on another team. I mean, geez, if all of these guys were like number 1s on different teams, heck, they could all very legitimately be in the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL. Hands down, like, that is a fact in my opinion. Same thing with the tight end room, like Gronkowski. He's a top tight end. I think Brate's at least a top 15 tight end. And I think O.J. Howard, he's at least a top 15 tight end if he's not hurt. And if he's playing, like, at his full potential, he could be a top 5 tight end in my opinion. So, like, overall, these guys are beasts. Don't forget about Scotty Miller. I know everybody loves Scotty Miller, and it's understandable why. Tyler Johnson's coming into his own as well. A lot of fans there, and everybody's loving Jaylen Darden in that organization right now, myself included. I love Jaylen Darden. I think he's great. So, yeah, I think the Buccaneers deserve to be number 1, hands down. But what do you guys think? Leave me your thoughts down in the comments section below. What do you think about this rankings list? It was certainly weird in some spots, but I do think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do deserve to be number 1, again, in my opinion, all biased aside. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.